Year 2, Miss Buckley here again. So I'm going to read it from my laptop. Hopefully you guys have got a printout of the comprehension, or you're able to see it on the screen on a device or something if that's something that you've got access to. Today's reading comprehension is a text called "What Does a Train Driver Do?" Have a little think now. Do you think this is going to be fiction or non-fiction? What does a train driver do? Hopefully you've said non-fiction. I think from looking at this text, it's going to provide us with some information about train drivers. So that's telling me it's going to be non-fiction. It's going to be a text that has information and facts in. I'm going to read the text just like I did in yesterday's comprehension video, and it would be really helpful if you read along with your skim and scan finger as well at the same time that I'm reading. Then we will work through a couple of questions together. I'm only going to do the first 3 questions today, and then I would really like it if you had a go at the rest of the questions by yourself. In total, there are 8 questions, so I want to do 3 together as a group, and then I would really like you guys to carry on and do the rest by yourself. Okay, I'm going to read the text and you can follow along with your skim and scan finger. What does a train driver do? Millions of passengers travel on trains every day around the world, and train drivers have been helping passengers in the UK to complete their journeys ever since 1852. 1852 is the Victorian times. We're currently looking at the Victorian times, aren't we, in Luna? Here's my first subheading. It says, what roles and responsibilities do train drivers have? The main role of a train driver is to make sure that passengers arrive at their destination station safely. That's a tongue twister, the destination station. There are lots of signals that the driver needs to look out for and different speed limits. They are also responsible for making sure the train stays on time and arrives at each station when it is expected. I'm moving on to the next subheading. Where and when do they work? Train drivers can work in many different places. They might drive through cities, towns, and the countryside. Trains travel along the tracks on a special planned route, stopping at stations along the way. Some train drivers drive underground trains, which are called tube trains. Many of these tube trains travel in tunnels below the City of London. If you've ever been to London before, you might have ridden on the tube. That's the train that's underground. Some drivers do not carry passengers on their trains. They might carry post or other items that need to be moved around the country. These trains are called freight trains or cargo trains and are often very long. Let's look at the third subheading. What do train drivers wear? Like in lots of other jobs, train drivers wear a uniform that tells people which company they work for. Some companies ask their drivers to wear a suit, a tie, and even a hat. Some companies have a relaxed uniform, including a jumper with the company logo on it. How to become a train driver. This is the next subheading. To become a train driver, you need to be over 18 years old. Before you can become a train driver, you have to complete special tests and then train for over a year. At first, you will drive trains without passengers on to make sure that you are a safe driver. We've got some bullet points that tell us what good train drivers must have. Let's see if you agree with those. Good train drivers must have good eyesight. I agree with that. Be friendly. React quickly. So that means that they have to act quickly if anything happens. Concentrate for a long time. And stay calm. Those are the things that good train drivers must have. Okay, I've read the text aloud to you. If you want to, you could pause the video here and you could read through the text again yourself if you wanted to. If you feel quite confident with the text, then you might want to carry on with me now. I'm going to look at the first 3 questions, and then I would like you to have a go at the next 5 questions by yourself. There are 8 questions in total. Okay, question number 1. The first question says, when was the first train journey in the UK? Now, if I'm looking for a when question, that's the key word, isn't it? When. It's asking for a time or a year or maybe a date. So it said, when was the first train journey in the UK? Now it's question number 1, so I know that the answer to question number 1 can probably be found near the top of the text. So I'm going to go back to the first part of the text where it says, what does a train driver do? I'm going to go back to that part of the text and I'm going to read that first sentence now. And I'm going to have in my mind that I'm looking for when the first train journey in the UK was. So on my very small whiteboard, I'm going to write number 1. And I'm going to be looking now for when the first train journey was in the UK. I'm reading the first sentence. Join me if you want to. Millions of passengers travel on trains every day around the world, and train drivers have been helping passengers in the UK to complete their journeys ever since 1852. So if I had this as a paper copy, I'd be circling that sentence now. The question said, when was the first train journey in the UK? Well, it says that train drivers have been helping passengers in the UK to complete their journeys ever since 1852. And I'm just going to simply write down 1852 as my answer because I have written when it happened. So for right now, that is fine for my answer. We're building up to full sentences. Question number 2 says, complete this sentence by writing the missing word. The main role of a train driver is to make sure that passengers arrive safely at their... And then there's nothing, there's just the line. So I need to go back and find that sentence in the text. I can see it starts with the main role of a. So I'm going to look underneath where the answer to question 1 was because it's the next question. And it says, what role and responsibilities do train drivers have? So that's not the sentence I'm looking for. Oh, the main role of a train driver is to make sure that passengers arrive at their destination station safely. It's that tongue twister. Their destination station safely. So I'm going to write that on the missing line. If I had a copy of the worksheet, then right now I would be writing destination station safely because that is finishing the sentence that's on the sheet. Okay, let's have a look at number 3 now. Number 3 says, name 2 things that train drivers need to look out for. So, will I be writing 3 things they need to look out for? 1 thing? 4 things? 2 things. I'll be finding 2 things in the text that train drivers need to look out for. Okay, now I'm going to carry on reading from where it said destination station safely because it's the 3rd question. It must be after that. There are lots of signals that the driver needs to look out for and different speed limits. Oh, so what are the 2 things that the train drivers need to look out for? See if you can answer the question or have a think of it while I write it on my board. Let's see if we get the same answer. Which 2 things do train drivers need to look out for? I'm writing down 2 things that train drivers need to look out for. Are you ready? I'm going to reveal my answer. They need to look out for signals and speed limits. those were the two things that the text said that train drivers need to look out for. I wouldn't write two random things that I know in my mind because I'm finding the answer in the text. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop the video, because what I would really like you guys to do today is answer the next 5 questions on your own. Now, when you get down to question 8, then you need to have a little look at what the question's asking you to do, because it says that you must tick 3. So I'm not just going to tick 1 of the answers, I'm not going to tick 2, I'll need to tick 3 of the answers, and there are 4 answers there, so I only need to tick 3. And remember, when I'm doing a tick question, if I had my 4 boxes like that and it said tick 3, then I wouldn't tick 3 and cross 1, would I? I need to leave the one that I don't want, I leave it blank. I don't put anything in that box. Just a little tip to remember, just in case you need help with question number 8, okay? I would like you now to work through the 5 questions, so from number 4 onwards, or number 3 onwards. Oh no, we've done number 3. Number 4 onwards, and I would like you to carry on with the comprehension now. If you need any help, you know where I am. Just send a little message to me in the chat box and I can get back to you as well. And when you finish, send it across to me and I can't wait to read it. I hope you've enjoyed that text. It's a little bit different having a non-fiction, but it's nice to have a good variety of both. Thank you, boys and girls, for listening so beautifully, and I can't wait to see your comprehensions. Good job.